Hey, family, part two. And by the way, because I'm an equal opportunity slammer, I would be remiss to let go of that information from my mother and not reveal when I was broken by my father, or if I was broken by my father. What is really strange about my relationship with my father is he allowed me. Um, he had this real, um, maybe chauvinistic type of uh, uh, um, responsibility towards me, maybe because he did not want my brothers or anybody to beat me up. Of course, they did, but and he would tell them, you can't hit your sister. So most of the I can't say if I was broken that I was broken by my father in that sense because I can't even remember ever being hit by my father. What I do remember that that showed me he wasn't nothing to play with was um there was a situation where my two older brothers and my brother that's younger than me were outside playing, and it was a cold day, and my oldest brother maybe couldn't have been more than 10, and his brothers under him. Matter of fact, he might have been 8 or so, and so his brother was right under him. So none of these children were older than 10, and my baby brother was maybe 2, maybe 2 or so, 2 or 3, and he used to cry a lot because I think that, in fairness to my mother, I think that that's when a lot of her issues and emotional disappointments and her hurt and her pain and all of that was was carrying was while carrying that baby, and that baby came out a lot much more emotional than seemed like the rest of us did. So, and I'm saying that, and plus he was a cancer, so that didn't make it any easier. So he used to cry a lot, and my dad used to read and study 24 hours. If he wasn't working or whatever, he was self-taught. He self-taught himself to speak languages, and he's a dual citizen of different countries. But to make a long story short, he has dual citizenship, and he can speak fluent Arabic as well as he can speak English. Not bad from a boy from Poplar Bluff, Missouri, via Gary, Indiana. You understand what I'm saying? Uh, who was a preacher's kid. I don't want you to lose sight of it. My father had the most barbaric temper that the world has ever known. And he was insane once he got angry. So I never was under the wrath of him, maybe because I was a female and he did not believe in girls being hit. And I don't really think I was that bad. Only I just think that, my mother brought out the worst in me to some degree. But to make this story short, I can hardly say it without laughing because it's really not funny. It's a serious story of abuse. My little brother didn't want to take off his snowsuit, and so he was crying. And you know how kids do. When they don't want to take off their uniforms or their clothes, they make their bodies limp and do all kinds of stuff like that. And that's what my kid brother was doing to my oldest brother, who was being a juror disresponsibility of taking off his coat. Now, not that the dad would get his ass up and go in there and take his son's coat off, but he made the older son responsible to do this when he clearly saw he was having a hard time. Clearly saw that the young kid wasn't cooperating. Clearly screaming and yelling, and my father wanted it quiet. So remember, he's studying. Nothing comes before that. So when he was studying, we knew to be quiet. And my brother, my older brother, kept saying, "Well, he won't let me take it off. He won't let me take it off." And my younger brother had no idea what they were in for. And so my father, I was sitting at the kitchen table, and I had a foster sister who was sitting with me as well. She was, sitting there. My father bypassed us because we were not involved in it, and went into that room that my brother was trying to take off his little brother's coat. Very innocent little kid stuff. The baby didn't want to come inside. He was playing. He was having a good time. My father didn't come in there with any kind of sensitivity like, "Son, you have to come in now. All things come to an end," or whatever. And I'm not saying that he had to act in any kind of, feminine way or anything, but he deserved to explain to his son why he was coming in and taking off his clothes, in my opinion. Okay? Anything less than that is insane. Well, my father, of course, didn't think like me. All I saw was bodies flying across the room. He took one of my brothers and threw him so hard that he hit face first up against the wall and fell to the floor like a dish rag. He stomped my other brother, and I don't know what happened to him. So we began to run upstairs because we were like, "Oh, wow. Ooh, let's go." And this is how we handle stuff when we knew he was, if he was angry, that's what you were going to get. So you didn't really want to make him angry. Whereas it was just, let me just say this. He threw my little brother's head up against the wall so hard. Now, I don't want to disassociate this right now, because sometimes the laughing is just what I'm doing. I don't want to disassociate the craziness from what happened to this child and the abuse. He took that poor baby who was he was a kid. He was under 3, and threw him up against the wall so hard, and there were these prong things sticking out where you would put the the utensils, and he hit that child's head up against one of those things, and he had a big old knot on his head, and all that because he didn't want to take off his coat. And when my mother came in, when she saw that, that's when I saw a rage in her. She said, "You better not, why you do him like that, or why you do my baby like that?" And he said his response was something weird like, "I'll never hit your kids again." You think? And ever since then, after that, he kind of like just clocked out anyway on us. So it was really weird, really weird. Yet, we going to church. And he's teaching in the mosque. It was really weird. So I would be remiss if I did not be an equal opportunity releaser. And again, I'm telling you this story, and it's not to make anybody bitter. It's really to make you better. Because when you pull through craziness like this, and you realize, I gotta be seeing the world through some abused lenses. I may be seeing the world through lenses that may not necessarily be how I want to see things, but because of a defense mechanism I may have, I may be seeing the world just like this. So it's important to examine that. Okay? All right, that's enough. I had to get that out. So I hope that was good for you, Sub T, and I hope that you get what I'm saying. And whatever you're going through, be blessed. And all the rest of y'all out there, have a great day. See you next time in the mental house.